Go for broke. It's a gambler's term. It means shoot the worst. Go all out. Do or die. Go for broke.
I never realized that I liked creating fashion until we came out with our first Just Kidding Film shirts. Me and Joe are like, hey, should we like create some shirts so that the fans can have a piece of us? We're like, oh yeah, let's come up with some shirts.
I actually like using clothes as another way of expressing myself. It's like a great way to also communicate with people without actually telling them to. And also you can kind of express what type of individual you are through your outfits.
What people fail to realize too, I think, is that when you put on clothes and it makes you look a certain way, you also feel a certain way. So there's like a certain power that it has. So I love fashion.
T-shirts is just another medium for your art. Instead of painting or drawing something that you put on the wall, you can take that and wear it. Back in 2011, my favorite outfit was t-shirt, shorts, and sandals. So I really like to be comfortable. And Joe, he always just wore like a t-shirt and Dickie pants.
Like a warehouse worker, a straight up Dickies pants, Dickies matching top, and I had work boots on, and I probably wore that every single day. It was really just blue collar.
Both me and him, I think we dress more for functionality rather than an expression of ourselves at that time.
Me and Bart weren't against fashion. What we were against is how everybody believed they have to look a certain way for certain events.
Me and Joe, we used to mess around and say how like if we were to get invited to the Grammys or Academy Awards, we'd either show up in wife beaters or we'd show up in those shirt tuxedos because we just felt like it was so funny for people to get so overly dressed up for certain occasions.
The way I looked at people who were too posh and too like wanted to appear rich and stuff, I was like, man, you guys are frauds. Like a lot of you guys don't even have money and you try to look like you're rich. And I had a very pessimistic attitude when it came to dressing up. And I saw, you know, shirts with the collar, business attire. I saw it as a representation of that corporate slavery lifestyle. At the time, I think Gio was trying to express to us that we should be looking a little bit more presentable. We literally look like we just came from Asia and we just ran out of the container and we try to escape immigration. And that's what a lot of our shit looked like.
It was Gio's job, and fortunately she did her job well, where she would be like, okay, you at least have to dress like this, or you actually have to make yourself look presentable so other people can take you seriously as artists and not just like a circus act.
The first time I met David was the San Diego Asian Film Festival. I didn't know he was gonna be one of the panelists with us.
Before knowing him, the only thing that I knew of him was the Alexandra Wallace video that he did.
Who is this 16-year-old chubby Asian guy?
He looks like a 30-year-old Ajashi.
16-year-old, 30-year-old.
And I was like, okay, this guy's pretty funny. You know, he kind of has like this urban flair to him.
At that time, like, you know, the whole YouTube space was new to me and I was just going to any type of event that I was invited to. I wanted to spread my wings out and kind of see what everybody else had to offer. And I didn't know what the San Diego Asian Film Festival was. I was even shocked that I wasn't even invited to be on this panel or something, especially because I had limited content and I just started out. I think I was on YouTube less than a year when I went there. Now, the funny thing was, like, I didn't know who Bart and Joe was when I first saw them, but I knew who they were after I connected where I knew them from. So they did this video called Korean History Channel. So prior to that video, nobody knew how to do a Korean accent. Nobody. Until that fucking video. So ever since that video came out, everybody came up to me, I was like, first of all, where the fuck did you learn how to do that? That's really accurate, you know?
It was almost instantaneous where we all became friends. And that rarely happens to me where I'm able to just connect with people instantly. And we realized that we both like a lot of the same things.
They were cool dudes. We vibe very well.
We're pretty much brothers that grew up in different neighborhoods under very similar circumstances, and we became like friends really quickly.
When you're into so many hobbies with someone, it just makes it that much easier to become closer to them. So yeah, that was a pretty crazy, I guess, match made in heaven. So on the day that we met David in San Diego, I specifically remember him wearing basketball shorts, socks, and sandals.
What the fuck? That's my dream outfit. I wanted to wear that, but Jill wouldn't let me.
And then I was thinking the same thing, like, oh, what? There are other comedians that think like us.
That was definitely one of the huge points, that they also didn't like dressing up. They didn't really see the purpose of why you should do it. It kind of gave me an insight to them as a person, like how much they didn't really care about public opinion. It was more about, this is what I am, this is what I have to offer, you either take it or leave it.
It's really funny though, because Dave had his manager Abe, and so at the time Gio was like trying to help us present ourselves to the public.
Gio has this thing like called branding in mind, and she was worrying about all kinds of like PR and all this other stuff.
And they both, Gio and Abe, were saying the same things to both us and David.
Gio and Bart, like the first like little tip that they had in front of me was her getting into an argument about how he dresses. And she goes, you have to wear this. This is what you're going to wear. He goes, why can't I just wear this? It's like this wife beater with 17 holes in it. And Gio is just, she's just like mad at like Bart and Joe because they refuse to dress up at all. And I remember Bart looked at me and he goes, well, look at David, he doesn't wear anything. And I'm like, dude, I just met you, like you can't just throw me under the bus, like what the hell? But it was a good insight to see kind of like, oh, we kind of share like these similar values.
And I think that's something that brought us really closer together.
And I was like, man, this is tight. This guy, he's really real.
Having an extra person come along that's kind of like an extended member of this JK family was really, really great in the development of me and Bart, because I think a lot of the times, like when you're stuck with one other person, you're not introduced to a new thought, right? But when you bring a new mind into it, right? It's like a potluck. Like everybody got different types of flavors, they're bringing different dishes. It's like different from eating at home all the time. So I think when David came along, he was that different dish.
One of the more important things too is if you go into business with friends is you have to realize that you have to be like-minded, and they really have to be on the same like mental level as you as well. While being friends with them and while we were working together, it felt exactly the same, which is very rare. You don't have that. They say don't mix friendship and business together. It's because you two are on like two different like wavelengths. If those wavelengths match and you guys have the same goal and the same vision, then why wouldn't it work?
And we just started growing together as friends, and because of that, we started collaborating more too. So now our businesses are also starting to work together, as well as our friendships are developing.
I got to really see like the professional side, and I think that's what also clicked with me, was because your colleagues and the people that you work with, especially in a creative space, are also the people that you get inspiration from. They make you work harder. You don't work with people who are worse than you simply because of the fact that, I don't want to say you're out of their caliber, but they don't really inspire you to do more. I thought I was shameless. These guys have no shame whatsoever, and that actually helped me tap into something else that I didn't really have.
David is awesome. I think he has great work ethics, he's smart, and he's also got a thing of his own where you know that he's capable of running his own show, running his own business and all that stuff. It was just a matter of time where things were gonna come together and we start doing things together.
I had always wanted to start a fashion line, a clothing line anyways. When it came to making up the name, it was probably one of the most difficult things that I've ever had to do. Like, your name is your brand, and that's the first thing people will hear and recognize, right? So how do I create or stitch a few words together to really represent what I'm about or what I want this clothing brand to be about? And my brother actually mentioned it from the Street Fighter game. He goes, well, what about Go For Broke? And I was like, oh, that sounds really catchy. And then when I looked into what Go For Broke was about and where it actually originated from, it even resonated with me even more. Go For Broke is a Hawaiian pigeon slang saying for you to really go all in. And even more than that, it was used in the military for this Japanese regiment that was in the American military.
Americans with Japanese faces and Japanese names. They're members of the Japanese-American Combat Team, formed by special order of the Secretary of War early in 1943, made up entirely of volunteers.
If you go into Little Tokyo, there's this a quote on the Go For Broke monument where Harry S. Truman, he kind of alluded to saying, you not only fought for a country, you also fought against prejudice, which is something that's really amazing, and it kind of like stuck out with me. Even with my very first video, it was about, you know, racial persecution and like that harsh prejudice that, you know, as an Asian American that we feel towards other people. Go For Broke was really built around that motto, and I wanted this clothing brand to really represent what I'm about. A lot of the times when we wear the clothes that we have, we don't know what it's about. We see either number one, some artist like hyped it up And so now it's the hottest shit out there. Most of the hip hop clothing that you see nowadays was developed off of weed, drugs, partying, and sex. That's not what I'm about. Go For Broke, for a lot of people too, and I feel it's, for me, especially going into entertainment, it's something that a lot of people are scared to do. When I go out to a lot of these shows, or even when I do these YouTube, a lot of people ask me like, how do I get to do what you're doing or be successful in what I'm doing? And what I found out too is a lot of these kids out there, before they really try to do something, they already give up. They only give about like 20%, 15% of it. And the reason why you guys do that is because you want to be okay with failing. You want to be able to say, I only gave 25% of myself, so that's why I failed. So you have kind of a back out plan. Well, I never really tried in the first place. And what you find is like, if you bet that small, you only have those type of earnings. You bet small, you also win small. So Go For Broke, when I first started out, we had the brand image in mind, but we also wanted to keep up with the times in terms of fashion, right? So, you know, floral things were really hot at the time, and we wanted to go ahead and implement that to give you guys something that was current. So when you wore it, people were like, oh, that's dope, it's floral. And it was the hottest thing at the time, by the way. But the problem with creating a brand that only does something that's current with the times without really thinking about where the brand image is going, you're kind of like a flea market. You just put out design after design after design, and you really don't know what the direction is, and you kind of lose vision about why you started this in the first place. And so when it came with that, I mean, there was a lot of creative differences with the people that I started with. There was one guy that we were a part of, he just wanted to put more and more stuff out. He goes, let's just go ahead and, you know, sell out and just do more stuff, and if you have more content, more people will buy, you make more money. And I hated that, because that's not what Go For Broke was about. So we had to part ways with it because our vision didn't match. He wanted to use Go For Broke as a way just to make money, and that was it. And so at the end of the day, you know, we had to part ways, and he had to do his own thing, and that was a very hard move for me, just because I put a lot of heart and work into it. I'm not sure if you guys out there have ever created something from the ground up, but when you do something from like ground zero and up, to watch something fail that you put your heart and soul to is a very hard thing to watch.
So fast forward to 2015, we call it the year of the hustle for JK. We decided as a company that we're gonna stop all ventures and all channels and all shows that aren't producing results, and we're gonna focus all of our energies on the channels and shows that are doing really well. One of those is we stopped doing skits, because skits used to take an entire week to film, write, and edit, or actually 2 weeks, and that took up a lot of extra time that could have been focused on JK News or any other venture that we had. So we stopped skits, we started producing more lifestyle content, which connected us with our fans better anyways, and now it freed up time to work on business ventures. One of those being Go For Broke. So Go For Broke, one of the biggest reasons why we wanted to jump on that is not only was David in need of help, like he needed more partners and more brain power to help him launch and revitalize and expand it, and also at that same time, me and Joe, we were staring at our JustKiddingFilms merch, and we're like, honestly, this shit is ugly as fuck, and we're super happy that our fans buy it because they want a piece of us, but we feel bad that we're like selling this shitty product.
The JK merchandise is very, very niche to just JK fans. We might as well just create our own different clothing company and name it totally different and make it for beyond just JK fans, like make it for the general public.
So when we found out David needed help with Go For Broke, we're like, oh, this is gonna be the best marriage ever, because number one, we're already super tight friends, we respect each other's hustle, and also he needs help with creativity, and he already created a brand. Now we just have to come in and fill in the blanks and provide some of the brain power that he's been needing.
It wasn't so much what they could offer Go For Broke financially, it was how much heart and dedication that they were gonna put into it, and how much they believed in the brand, which is what I didn't have before.
After we verbally agreed to team up and relaunch Go For Broke, we didn't wanna just launch another YouTube merch line. So if you look at what we did with just JK, it's just shirts that kind of embody like some of the famous sayings of a few videos, and there's no cohesive branding. It's just this random shirt here and then this other shirt there. What we're trying to do with Go For Broke is we want to launch like an official line.
We decided to connect everything that embodies what it means to Go For Broke, and also have elements of military, because to pay homage for the 442nd and the guys that coined this term.
It was very important for the first line to reflect the company's motto. So the company's motto is
Death before defeat.
And it's almost synonymous with the term Go For Broke too, where Go For Broke was a saying of the 442nd Unit in World War II, where they were saying like, if you're gonna go do it, you gotta go all out.
There's a lot of bad things that happen in the backscene that you guys don't see in terms of like a lot of the troubles that we go through to even getting to where we want to be with the brand. So for me, like, the small victories count even more because I have to hold on to that and really believe that what we're doing is right and that the direction that we're going is correct too. You know, because I can't think about, oh man, my first launch went bad. I remember when we first did this happened and we still failed. Like, I can't really focus on that. I have to focus on what is happening right now, what is present, and all the positives. So these small little victories, they do lead to the big one. So if I focus on the negative, it's not really gonna work out either way. It's like a premonition for defeat.
With the type of mentality that all three, me, Joe, and David have, we wanted our line to reflect that. I think a lot of lines out there, like almost all streetwear brands, they're attached to some sort of lifestyle, but there isn't one for people that just go ham and go balls out to achieve whatever they want.
I've made JK shirts. I tried to make a t-shirt company in the past, but what is it that's so different about this one? And I think it's because of the whole meaning and the reasons why we made this company and everything that embodied Go For Broke. And now it's kind of like there's a special power to this t-shirt. Now you're representing, now you're ready to go out and pursue your passions and do what you want to do. I want this clothing brand to be something that helps motivate a lot of people.
The first fan that I see wear Go For Broke on the streets, I'm probably gonna run up to him or her and hug them. I'm like, that's fucking tight. Because when people value something that you created, it brings you that much closer. It's almost the same thing as when you make a video that you really, really like, and then if you only get 10 views, you're like, oh man, I really like that video. But then when you make a video you really like, and there's like 1 million views on it, like, dope. Everyone felt about the video in the way that you intended it to be. So that's kind of how I view Go For Broke and this line, where I want people to not only wear it, but I want people to wear it and also feel like they embody the spirit. I would love for people to wear Go For Broke whenever they feel like they need to be empowered in pursuing whatever they want to do. And I'm like, thank you for going for broke.
Remember, it's not just a shirt, it's a lifestyle.
Hey everybody!
Hello, people! Go For Broke is currently out now, so go get your stuff at goforbrokeapparel.com.
And if you guys don't want to type that in, click down below and you can click the link and it'll take you directly there. Get it now because it might run out.
I know you guys been waiting for a long time. It's been approximately, roughly about a long time.
Like a year. It's been a year, right?
It's been 2 years, I think.
I think like 2 years.
Yeah.
It's been 2 years?
2 years.
Since we made the decision?
Well, because you know David likes to lag on everything.
Oh yeah.
So he wanted to come out with it and it took a long time, and then we jumped on it and we had to like get his ass up from not lagging, so finally after 2 years, ready.
Fuck both of you.
But it's ready now, so you guys could go right now.
And we're actually wearing a few pieces. You see, this one, a lot of people like this one. Not only for the colors, but for the Go For Brokeness.
Yeah, it's up in the clouds.
It's in the clouds. There's airplanes.
Living loud.
Your imagination is sky high.
Wear it proud.